Hello! Welcome to the Study With Me series of Law School Buddy. I have prepared audiobook materials following the syllabus of the Philippine bar exams dedicated to our law school students. I hope that this audiobook can help with your study and review. Let's begin. The Civil Code of the Philippines, Book 2, Property, Ownership, and its Modifications. Title 1, Classification of Property. Preliminary Provisions. Article 414. All things which are or may be the object of appropriation are considered either 1. Immovable or real property, or 2. Movable or personal property. Chapter 1. Immovable Property. Article 415. The following are immovable property. 1. Land, buildings, roads, and constructions of all kinds, adhered to the soil. 2. Trees, plants, and growing fruits, while they are attached to the land, or form an integral part of an immovable. 3. Everything attached to an immovable in a fixed manner, in such a way that it cannot be separated therefrom, without breaking the material or deterioration of the object. 4. Statues, reliefs, paintings, or other objects for use or ornamentation, placed in buildings or on lands by the owner of the immovable, in such a manner that it reveals the intention to attach them permanently to the tenements. 5. Machinery, receptacles, instruments, or implements, intended by the owner of the tenement, for an industry or works which may be carried on in a building, or on a piece of land, and which tend directly to meet the needs of the said industry or works. 6. Animal houses, pigeon-houses, beehives, fish ponds, or breeding places of similar nature, in case their owner has placed them or preserves them, with the intention to have them permanently attached to the land, and forming a permanent part of it. The animals in these places are included. 7. Fertilizer actually used on a piece of land. 8. Mines, quarries, and slag dumps, while the matter thereof forms part of the bed, and waters either running or stagnant. 9. Docks and structures which, though floating, are intended by their nature and object to remain at a fixed place on a river, lake, or coast. 10. Contracts for public works and servitudes, and other real rights over immovable property. Chapter 2. Movable Property. Article 416. The following things are deemed to be personal property. 1. Those movables susceptible of appropriation, which are not included in the preceding article. 2. Real property, which by any special provision of law, is considered as personal property. 3. Forces of nature, which are brought under control by science, and 4. In general, all things which can be transported from place to place, without impairment of the real property to which they are fixed. Article 417. The following are also considered as personal property. 1. Obligations and actions, which have for their object movables, or demandable sums, and 2. Shares of stock of agricultural, commercial, and industrial entities, although they may have real estate. Article 418. Movable property is either consumable or non-consumable. To the first class belong those movables, which cannot be used in a manner appropriate to their nature, without their being consumed. To the second class belong all the others. Chapter 3. Property in relation to the person to whom it belongs. Article 419. Property is either of public dominion or of private ownership. Article 420. The following things are property of public dominion. 1. Those intended for public use, such as roads, canals, rivers, torrents, ports and bridges constructed by the state, banks, shores, roadsteads, and others of similar character. 2. Those which belong to the state, without being for public use, and are intended for some public service, or for the development of the national wealth. Article 421. All other property of the state, which is not of the character stated in the preceding article, is patrimonial property. Article 422. Property of public dominion, when no longer intended for public use, or for public service, shall form part of the patrimonial property of the state. Article 423. The property of provinces, cities, and municipalities is divided into property for public use and patrimonial property. Article 424. Property for public use, in the provinces, cities, and municipalities, consists of the provincial roads, city streets, municipal streets, the squares, fountains, public waters, promenades, and public works for public service, paid for by said provinces, cities, or municipalities. All other property, possessed by any of them, is patrimonial and shall be governed by this code, without prejudice to the provisions of special laws. Article 425. Property of private ownership, besides the patrimonial property of the state, provinces, cities, and municipalities, consists of all property belonging to private persons, either individually or collectively. Provisions common to the three preceding chapters. Article 426. Whenever by provision of the law, or an individual declaration, the expression immovable things or property, or movable things or property, is used, it shall be deemed to include, respectively, the things enumerated in Chapter 1 and Chapter 2. Whenever the word moveables, or furniture, is used alone, it shall not be deemed to include money, credits, commercial securities, stocks and bonds, jewelry, scientific or artistic collections, books, metals, arms, clothing, horses or carriages, and their accessories, grains, liquids and merchandise, or other things which do not have as their principal object the furnishing or ornamenting of a building, except where from the context of the law, or the individual declaration, the contrary clearly appears. And that is the end. If this audiobook has helped you, please comment down below, and like and share our video to someone who might need it. For more Study with Me sessions, please subscribe to our channel. Thank you so much for making us your law school buddy.